Welcome, everybody, to Juice Pro Wrestling, episode 37, the Drex Express.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. With me today is Sret and the Savage. What's up, Sret?
Hi.
Yeah, and we got a very special guest in the studio today, local professional wrestler by the name of Drex Odell.
How's it going, y'all?
What's up, man? The Manchester Hooligan.
Yeah, that's right. Manchester Hooligan.
Yeah, it's good to have you in the studio. Did you know you are our first actual wrestler?
Yeah, like we were talking about before we started recording, I've been catching up on all the episodes, and I'm honored and a little bit frightened for you all, for me to be the first one. So
You are kind of frightening with your stature. Well, yeah, we appreciate you listening and everything, man. You obviously enjoyed it.
oh yeah, it's hilarious.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah.
That's what we go for. You know, give a little bit. Yeah. So, give us a little bit of background on where you're from, where you've been, and where you're going.
Well, you know, kind of established it once before on another show. Born in the UK, Manchester.
Sex Pistols fan?
Well, who isn't at this point, right? One album's all you need if you do it well, right?
One album's all they did.
Yeah, grew up in the United States, actually in Northwest Indiana, and that's been about it. I didn't start training until I was at the ripe old age of 32.
Nice. You got that DDP thing going on.
Well, we'll see about all that. I don't see world champion in my future at the moment. But
Neither
we'll
did
see.
David Arquette, but look what happened.
This is true, but I'm sure he also didn't see his throat almost being sliced open by Nick Gage. So
Yeah.
I just got to give the guy credit, man, coming out and doing his thing. Like he's
Yeah.
actually putting the time in and all that. So
Yeah, it is weird. It's weird to see that guy, and like really now, I mean, it's hard to knock him because he's an actor, but he loves professional wrestling, man. It's
you know, I'm a big fan of like Jim Cornette. I listen to his podcast all the time too, both of them. And I know he's not the greatest fan of David Arquette, and he absolutely hated Ready to Rumble, but it's still one of my favorite movies to sit down and watch for the hell of it with some of the guys at the locker room.
it is good. I always follow it up with 8-Legged Freaks.
Eight-Legged Freaks is a fantastic movie.
Starting Carrie Werher.
Yeah, no, and
We got into it.
Yeah, well, what was her name too? It was like one of her first movies, Scarlett Johansson.
Oh yeah, she played the teenage daughter, right?
Is that right?
Yeah, she did.
She was the one.
She
her
played with-
boyfriend was a dude on the dirt bikes, and they were getting attacked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I
She
forgot all
also
about
played
that.
with my teenage heart.
Oh.
Hey man, it was Angelina Jolie for me in 1995 when I first saw her in Hackers. So
Oh yeah, me too. And then what was that other movie where she was a lesbian?
Gia.
No. Oh,
Yep,
that was
yep,
good.
yep, that was
Naked
that
all the time.
You said, has she been in multiple movies playing?
Yeah, what was it? It was
lesbian?
like I keep wanting to say Girl Next Door or something, but it wasn't that. It was something like that.
Something with Winona Ryder and she.
Yeah, yeah,
that's
I
right.
didn't ever actually see it, but I think she was.
I'll never guess it because Girl Next Door is stuck in my head.
I know, right?
Speaking of Girl Next Door, I just started rewatching 24, and Alicia Cuthbert is in. Played Jack Bauer's daughter. Yeah.
Yeah. Bow to me splendidly. So let's go over a little bit of your history as far as like where you've been locally. Like what local promotions have you worked for?
Well, I started training at ACW down in DeMont, Indiana.
I'm sorry, your accent sounded like you said ECW.
Acme Championship.
Damn
Wrestling.
Brits. Sorry.
But yeah, I started training down there. I've worked for PWK. They're based mostly out of like southern Michigan, north central Indiana. They used to do some shows in Valpo at the Moose Lodge and
Oh,
Bourbon,
nice.
Indiana, and all that. So I wrestled there. I used to wrestle at Fire Pro for a long time.
Yeah.
Until they shut their doors last year, unfortunately. And locally, this year, I worked 4 or 5 shows for ARW.
Yeah, with Chano.
Yep, with Chano and all those gentlemen over there.
We're hoping to get him on. So Chano, if you're listening,
Yep.
what the hell? Come on, bro.
We are waiting.
Also, I haven't been there yet, but I'm not sure exactly when, but in 2019 I'll be starting over at Backbreaker, which they're
Nice. In
running
Griffith.
most of the shows in Griffith. Yeah, at St. Mary Hildebrand Hall. So
Are they? Do they have something to do with what is it? Creative Comics?
yeah, Jim Rohn, the owner of Creative Comics, is one of the biggest sponsors. Has been sponsoring it since the beginning.
Super nice guy,
Yeah,
too,
he is,
man.
and the gentleman who started it up used to not only wrestle and perform at ARW and Fire Pro before I started at any of those places. He also used to book a little bit back and forth between the two companies. I don't know when the timeline actually lined up, but Cade Lee started the company up, and It's his baby, and just had the anniversary show this past October.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's good to see a lot of local promotions around here doing
And
shit.
As far as other local stuff, I think that's pretty much it up here. I do NGW, New Generation Wrestling, based in Crawfordsville, Indiana. And I did New Era once down in Shelbyville as well. I'm trying to get in with my tag team.
If we can back up a little bit, because before we went on a couple days ago, I was talking on the phone trying to feel you out, and you told me a little story about you and Tommy Dreamer at Fire Pro Wrestling.
I was actually ARW this year.
Was that ARW? That was ARW?
Yeah, that
okay,
was
my
at,
bad.
Headlock and Hunger this year. Very hot day.
Yes.
I wrestled a match against the then ARW heavyweight champion, which was Max Holiday.
Mm-hmm.
I was working some stuff with the family. Ivan Manson. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, but Ivan Manson was separated from the family for a while, and
now they're back together.
Yeah, now they're back together. They pulled the wool over everyone's eyes. So, but we went out there, and after my match with Max Holiday, the main event was going to be Tommy Dreamer versus Ivan Manson in a hardcore match. I think is pretty much what it was.
Right.
We came out and attacked the two of them, and we went to go leave, and then they challenged us to a tornado tag team match, hardcore. And it's like, oh no, we're done. We've already done what we did. We ruined the main event of the show.
You're doing heel shit.
And then they came and attacked us, and went and fought outside of the ring. The asphalt was extremely hot, and it was like 90-something degrees that day. I'd already wrestled one match. I was sweating like crazy. I think I drank by the end of the day because I had two more matches down in Lafayette later that night.
Really?
Yeah.
What's down in Lafayette?
NGW occasionally runs some shows. We did one at the... I can't remember if it's a Legion or I think it might have been Eagles.
Okay.
But went out there and then ended up turning into the tornado tag match. Tommy Dreamer threw a 55-gallon trash can at my face. In the face! Knocked my...
Catch! Catch his catch can! Sure can.
I believe Sretnet is actually what he said to me. He said, here, catch, and bam, double overhand like Donkey Kong throwing it at Mario. Nailed me right square in the forehead and the bridge of my nose. Landed on my ass and my back right on the asphalt, and I'm telling you, it was
hey, that's why he's the innovator of violence still.
Exactly, yeah. But that was it was a surreal. I mean, I've been in the ring a couple times, been chokeslammed by Abyss a few times.
Nice.
Twice in one night at Fire Pro, actually.
Yeah.
And then
great guy.
Yeah, he is fantastic. He's a nice man.
Taking fireball shots with him.
Hurt a little bit, but
it's good they couldn't get you with just one chokeslam.
Oh, well, my tag team partner at the time made me look like a midget. So, I'm sorry, a dwarf. I apologize. That might be not politically correct.
No, I mean, I think they still use that. We don't fucking care.
It's a little person.
Well, it depends. I mean, he asked Hornswoggle, and he said, no, man, that's how I make my money. So,
yeah.
Or at least some of the other
Hey, hashtag midget equals money.
I don't know.
Like Bischoff said, controversy creates cash.
Yep.
Midgets equal money.
There you go.
He said all that?
Yeah.
Sounds like something you'd say.
Yeah. Well, he did the controversy thing. He didn't say the midget thing. That was mine.
I might have to go. I was going to say I might have to go back and listen to his. If it was a 38 weeks or whatever the hell the name of his podcast is.
83 weeks.
83 weeks. There you go. Yeah.
I like that though. It's a cool name because that's how long they dominated WWF back in the day.
It's a good name.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
So you needed 5 choke slams to be put down.
Put that fucking down.
And then what happened?
That was the end of it for me with Abyss that night.
So he got the dub?
He
You should have been like, hey, man, you're coming into my territory, motherfucker. You think just because you're Impact Hall of Famer, you can fucking walk in on my shit? I'm Drex Odell!
He pulled my manager in front of him and got out of it, and I ended up clotheslining my manager. And, my tag team partner, Xavier Mustafa, who's up in Wisconsin.
Is he a sympathizer to some sort of terrorist activity?
Not that I know of. He's a gigantic, scary man, though. I mean, the two of us came out as a combined 700 pounds.
Oh, man, you guys are like the big boss man, Nakeem.
And at the time, I was 295 of it. Now I'm like 320 of it, but
Whew.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with Drex Odell.
But this summer was a lot of fun. Like I said, after I got done with that match, after getting the trash can smashed across my face and all that by Tommy Dreamer, I ended up taking a stunner from Ivan Manson into a cutter from Dreamer. So,
nice.
To get out of the character for a little bit, it was like, I mean, there's the only thing that could have been more of a dream would be like Stone Cold, Steve Austin, giving me a stunner.
Oh man, that's a wet dream.
Like, oh yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
I love that guy.
Yeah, he's great. Shout out to Stone Cold. He just had a birthday recently, too. It's weird because him, Trish Stratus, and RVD all have birthdays on the same day. It's like, what do you do? And two of those guys we did episodes on.
Yeah. I did. I just was listening to that the other day.
And Trish, she used to be the Dish. She's still a Dish. I mean, yeah. It's just, you could tell it's like there's been some altercations.
Yeah, and alterations.
That's what I was kind of... Altercations.
Well, yeah, I'm sure there was some fighting backstage.
I meant to say that.
You mean to tell me you don't think Linda McMahon got some action back on her and beat the hell out of her after?
I'd have gave her some action.
Comatose.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Wheelchair.
I'd have gave her some action. Linda, she's in the president's cabinet now. You know, we got a WWE Hall of Famer running this country. It's very beautiful, very positive, very good. Well, that's cool, man. Yeah, the Tommy Dreamer. So no Dreamer drivers, no nothing.
He went to pick me up for it, and because I'm big and, as he puts it, I'm old, and out of shape, he got me about halfway up and went,
he is
my back. Set me right back down.
Have you seen any of the Edge and Christian show?
No, man. I don't have the network anymore.
Well, I'm glad you don't. Yeah. Like I said, I can't seem to unsubscribe. I just forget I have it, and then it's on my Xbox, and I'm bored, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'll watch this. But I actually checked out season 2, and it's really cool. And what they're doing now, dude, there's a lot of references to like what's going on just in the whole wrestling world outside of WWE. They had Tommy Dreamer. They did what was called the Moonies. It was like a spoof on the Goonies, but with Sean Mooney, and they're looking for his pants. Remember? They'd be like, let's take it to Sean Mooney, and Bobby the Brain would be like, who?
Oh, my God.
I don't know why I loved it, but I just still to this day, I can't get that out of my brain. Though.
That's awesome.
So they're looking for Mooney's pants, and Dreamer shows up outside, and he's Chunk. Of all people, they're like, you got to do the Dreamer shuffle or whatever the hell it is they called it. And he lifts his shirt up, dude. Dreamer's got some fucking double D's, dude. Like, straight up. No disrespect, because I love Tommy, but it was weird.
Double D's.
I've never seen him without his shirt unless it was like early ECW, you know?
Yeah.
And so he does that thing, and like he blows like a fart and does some other weird shit, and they go about their business. Carlito ends up showing up in the episode, and they're like, Carlito, you got this boat? And he's like, where'd you get this boat? He's like, well, I'm no young buck, but there's a lot of money to be made in the indies. And I'm just like, I mark out for that shit, you know, especially in WWE, because it's like, dude, that's how influential those guys are. That they got.
Well, just the fact that Vince obviously didn't like see that ahead of time and doesn't control that much. Like, I know he does the live show stuff, you know, TV, but I mean, they have fun in the house shows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They get to goof around a little bit here and there. So just the fact that he let that slide onto his own network.
Oh, yeah, guys, dude. And there's a lot of little digs that they throw. I mean, as a wrestling fan, if you're a hardcore wrestling fan, you're going to catch them all, and you're just going to sit there with a chub.
I like this.
I like to move. Never mind.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, it was pretty cool to see all that stuff. So, oh, look at this guy. Going back to what you were saying about the Abyss match, because I want to touch on that a little bit, because Abyss is a super, super cool guy. You have any interaction with him after the match or anything?
Yeah, before the match, when he was at Fire Pro, both of the times that I was on the show with him, he did 2 different seminars. So got to sit in and talk about the business side of things, and then a little bit of, drills and all that stuff on the other one. Afterwards, I was a little bit late to my cue to come in and attack him. Again, going out of character and everything in kayfabe here, but I got a little bit chastised for it. But unfortunately, I didn't. At the time, I didn't know how to react to it, because he was facing the direction I was going to be coming in, and I didn't want to, blow everything, because I was supposed to be not seen by the ref. The next time, I hit the ring a little slower than he expected. So when we got downstairs, I quote you, and I quote, "Dude, you're going to be late to your own funeral." And I felt bad, but at the same time,
you should have told him though. It's like, Abyss, I love you, but that new mask sucks.
Well,
it looked like doo-doo on your face.
I think he was still wearing one of the older classic ones at the time. I actually saw him. I saw him at AAW a few months later and everything, and we joked around, had a big hug and everything, and
nice
talk. So yeah.
Speaking of AAW, I mean, you catch a couple of those events, right?
Whenever I get a chance to. Unfortunately, a lot of time when they do their shows, I've either got bookings when they're close and they're in Marionette Park, and then you know, sometimes I end up, you know, like I'm not going to travel all the way out to LaSalle, you know.
Yeah,
it's
a
fun
drive, man. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, most of the time, by the time I come home from work and all that stuff, it's just kind of like, you know, the shoot job. It's not super taxing or anything like that, but just the drive back. I work in Illinois.
Right.
And live over, you know, in Indiana. So driving back can be a little bit of a hassle. You know,
I feel you.
80, 94, you never know when the traffic's going to start. If it's going to start at like Klein Avenue, if it's going to be all the way backed up to 57. You know,
I don't deal with the traffic, but I work out in Wanata. There's a lot of backwoods people. You'd swear the Wyatt family was out there.
I work a lot down in the Bradley area. I was down in Moments. And
so you deal with like LAX.
I don't know, man. I saw there's a Facebook page for it and everything. I saw a lifted 4-wheel drive Lincoln limo.
You don't just drive a Lincoln because you want to drive a Lincoln.
So I saw that and I'm like, what?
Over the summer, downtown Hobart, we got the lakefront down here. There was a guy who had I don't even know what it was. It might have been a Lincoln, but it was a Charlotte Hornets, decked out Charlotte Hornets ride. I mean, it was so ridiculous. It was sitting on dubs. It looked nice as hell.
Was the driver wearing the quintessential starter jacket from the 80s?
No, I could have swore that the person driving this car was a slickster. And that's the only person who should have been driving this car.
Probably, yeah.
You know, was the Rev Slick. But you look at this car, and it's got the logo on the hood, and this thing's all airbrushed and decked out. It's got the purple and teal or aqua, whatever you want to call it. And then, like, I go and look on the other side. I was like, man, this car's dope as hell. And you look on the other side, it's all, like, smashed. I'm like, what the hell? Oh, my God. That's my mean gene. I can't really do them that good.
Nobody will notice if he just drives around everybody in circles all the time.
Just walk around in circles. I'm going to take every chance I get.
That's the second time I've had a soul coughing reference pop up, and it's been that exact same one. I sang it to somebody last weekend.
It'll happen, man. I'm a music guy, so when people say any like word or phrase that I know is in a song, it's gonna come out. And sometimes it may be right out of the left field, but
there you go.
I didn't catch you off guard with the soul coughing.
No, definitely not. No.
Nice. So what do you got? You got any big plans for 2019 as far as you got any shows booked?
Yeah, I mean, my home fed, ACW, we usually we take January off, and we tend to take June and July off just because it's a little bit harder for us to draw. We do most of our shows are small.
Really? In June and July?
Believe it or not, yeah. I mean, it's the schools, we tend to do a lot of like elementary schools. The owner is a gym teacher at the elementary school system down there, bounces between all 3 schools. So Jimmy Holmes tries to set up a lot of like fundraiser type shows. Sometimes we do it for Jasper County Animal Control. They do like a camping trip at Lincoln Elementary every year. You know, we do stuff for the Mott Boxing Club because that's where we train at, and we pretty much help keep that going.
Right.
There's a lot of kids that may not be able to afford typical gym dues for boxing because, I mean, let's face it, it's about the same cost as a regular gym or a good quality gym.
Oh, yeah.
You want to work out every month. So a lot of what we do helps them stay afloat. They're a charity, essentially. They're
that's cool, man.
C3 and all that. So that's pretty much most of what that is. We've got a show. We do a couple of small shows a year in the boxing club. It's like maybe 65, 75 people can fit in there comfortably.
Is it the ultimate male versus the ultimate meatball?
There's no Thunder Lips going on in there, no. But I think as of right now, I believe it is February 8th. I don't know what we're doing in March yet. I do know that we have 2 of our bigger shows that are big fundraisers, one for Hebron Middle School and one for Franklin Elementary in Hammond, which we do over, I can't remember the name of the school in Whiting now, the high school, but I can't think of
Whiting High School.
We're just going to go with that. But yeah, it's technically in the Hammond school system, I think. But it's like right on the edge of Whiting and all that. So we're going to be doing that again this April. And then in May, I think we're doing 1, maybe 2 shows that we normally do. Lake Village Elementary is one of the schools that Jimmy teaches at. So we started doing shows there. And it's like your old school, really small elementary school gymnasium with a stage.
Nice.
Which is really dangerous to walk down.
Yeah.
That's the only way to get out. That's our locker room up there. So
yeah. But, hey, I seen Ethan Page beat Jordan Grace for the Black Label Pro title on the stage.
Oh, yeah.
It was nice.
But as far as that goes, just the typical stuff. MGW, me and my tag team partner, TK0, Pinnacle FC down there. We're still the champions down there. We've got
nice. Throw them blessings and shout outs to your partner.
But we got a lot of stuff coming up. So and I'm trying. I think I'm going to be trying to make my way into backbreaker this fall or the spring, I should say. So we'll see how that goes.
Get her done. Let me ask you this. Yep. So how long have you been, I mean, obviously, you being a wrestler, and everybody who's a wrestler, for the most part, I would say a good 95 percentile, grew up and were huge fans. Yeah. Is that the case with you?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
What, let the JP Woo know, for those out there listening, what were some of your inspirations and some of your favorite characters and wrestlers from when you were younger?
I can go back. Some of my earliest memories, aside from the 1985 Chicago Bears winning the Super Bowl.
Oh, man.
It's one of my earliest memories.
Love the 85 Bears. You just give me pumped,
I was about to turn 4. So, I was a little bit of a young lad. Surprising I can remember it. But my grandfather on my other side, who I get my last name, Odell. His name was Odell, Barney Odell. He used to get a lot of the WWF stuff. We would watch a lot of that when it was on.
Do you miss the WWF? Let me ask you this, and this is not to cut you off, but I thought of this question as you're talking. I've never asked this, but this is a damn good question in my opinion. Are you finally comfortable with calling it WWE?
Yeah, you know what? It never really affected me. To be honest with you, it didn't affect me because I look at it. It's the same thing. It really essentially is. I mean, if you go back and look at the way some of the stuff was booked, even in the 80s, I mean, yeah, it's a little bit different.
Right.
They approached it like it was a real thing, but once the whole steroid scandal was breaking out,
once Duggan and the Sheik got caught with a bunch of paraphernalia and cocaine.
I'm telling you right now, kayfabe was not dead to me until maybe it was 2 years ago when I went to Great America and I saw Sylvester and Tweety hugging and taking pictures with people together. That's when kayfabe died for me. Okay.
All right.
No, I grew up.
For a fucking pass.
They fought. The cat fell out of the bag.
I think I might even have made a post on Facebook and took a picture like, this is it, I'm done.
Oh, man.
No, I grew up, I remember watching a lot of Macho Man and Ricky Steamboat.
Did somebody just call out the Macho Man? Yeah, did it.
Of course, Hulk Hogan, which I had that Wrestle Buddy pillow of.
I still have it.
I used to do pile drivers off the fourth step at my parents' house.
Nice.
Landing right on my butt.
I was just going to say, how bad did that hurt your ass?
I felt fine. I didn't start getting injured until I started actually wrestling.
Right.
But, I grew up watching a lot of it. I took some time off for a while, and I started getting involved in watching it again during the kind of like the early stages of the Monday Night Wars.
Okay.
I would tape one of the shows on my VCR in my bedroom and watch the other one downstairs on TV, flip back and forth between it, commercial breaks anyway, when I was just to kind of keep up with everything. But I think at that time I was kind of torn between WCW and WWF.
Right. NWO era versus Attitude era.
Yeah. I mean, the only pay-per-view I ever ordered and made sure I paid and all that stuff my own money for it was Super Brawl 8, and that was to watch Sting take on Hogan and finally win, the big gold belt again. I was bought and sold in on all that stuff.
Starcade? Is it?
No, Super Brawl 8.
Oh, okay, Super
Brawl 8, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, specifically that one. I mean, I think that's when he actually won, and he got screwed out of it at the other one. I can't remember exactly how that went, but that was like the only time I ever ordered a pay-per-view when I was a kid. Had all my friends over in the basement and all that stuff, watching it and all that. But then I took some more time off of it because it was, college and soccer still playing. And
did you ever get wrapped up in any of the ECW action going on?
I watched it one day, caught it late on TV to think like everybody else did the first time.
Yeah, after like Man Cow TV or something, it would come on the hardcore TV.
What's going on right now?
Yeah.
No, I did watch a little bit of it then. I didn't get to see as much of that, but
it was definitely like for the time. I think that was like the Nirvana per se to pro wrestling. That was the anti. They were the punks of the wrestling world. They were the guys that are like, hey, we're doing these storylines that are so out of this world and super crazy, but based somewhat in reality. Where WWF was still, before the Attitude Era, they were still floundering around with guys like Duke the Dumpster Droese and
man, he was just on Stone Cold's podcast this week.
Mike Droese
last week, yeah,
he's really. I talked to him on Facebook. He's a really cool dude. Yep. So no disrespect, but the booking back then, it was like the comic book gimmick didn't work. That's why WCW was pounding them into the dust they had the NWO coming out. It was like super like fresh and like it had like this gangbanger vibe to it, you know, like mafioso vibe. Like it's like, wow, this is, and at the time, and you can never ever, I think, duplicate that situation.
No,
because
it was too organic.
Even though you knew wrestling was, you know, we don't say the F word.
Yeah.
On JPDub, but you knew wrestling, there was something going on.
Yeah.
Something that made you itch, and it's like, well, this ain't quite right. But you knew there was something going on. You still, once Scott Hall, I remember, I will never forget, seeing him walking out on Nitro, like through the crowd. I'm like, what the hell is Razor Ramon doing there? Like, because back then there's like no internet, no dirt sheets, no Twitter and spoilers, all that like there is nowadays. I mean, it was a time where you could believe, it's like, okay, I know what wrestling is, but is something really going on here? And then when Nash came, and then when Hogan revealed himself, it was like,
well, and then they took it a step further. When they sold their merchandise, they didn't sell it at the booths at the shows. They sold them out of a van in the parking lot. Like,
dude, it was.
Yeah, like it was the guy making the when Metallica went on tour back in for 95, 96, the first time I ever got to see him on the Load tour. I know, sorry.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that what y'all desire. Oh, yeah.
I actually really like both those albums. It's just the fact that Metallica did it.
At the time, it was like, what the hell?
But no, I mean, like, it's like some, you know, knockoff T-shirt maker, you know, where world is misspelled on a long sleeve shirt they sold. That it says WORTLD. World Tour, I guess. I don't know how. Yeah, but like they did it, they took it to that level. It's the same thing I respect about Jericho so much. The guy takes his heel character stuff so
is killing it right now. I just watched today the interview and the situation he had with Naito.
Yep, at the press conference.
Oh, dude, it's so great. And he's super like evil, like in New Japan.
Well, and when he does heel work at WWE, he doesn't allow them to sell any merchandise. When him and a Big Show were a tag team.
Yeah,
Show was like mad at him because they could not. He would not allow a shirt to be made for their tag team.
It's funny you say that because Butchman Lee, who frequently appears on the JPDub, still to this day, I think the last time we had him on a show, he was talking about how, man, Jericho's a real dick. Like, I'm like, dude, you're getting played, man. That's how good he is. He's not a dick. He's good.
I've met
him at Valpo, and he wouldn't sign any of the autographs for the kids and this, and that. And I'm like,
was he heel?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. I met him. I've actually seen Fozzy a few times.
Really?
And, yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just messing with you.
They're actually entertaining live. I like their music for the most part, but like some of the newer stuff.
Stuck Mojo, didn't he just take over Stuck Mojo?
Essentially, it's kind of what happened. I think they had they just actually went back on a tour with their original vocalist.
Really?
Yeah, and like last year, I think they did a little bit like a new EP or something. And I think they went on a mini tour too. But I mean, Rich Ward is an amazing guitarist and songwriter, and you know some of the music. The last album, I'm not a huge fan of, but I saw them when Sin and Bones came out.
Okay,
and they were playing at Uproar, and I think
is that the one that had Judas on it?
Was Judas is the most recent one.
Okay,
yeah. Uproar, when they played that one, when Sin and Bones came out, it had I forgot the name of the song, but M Shadows from Avenged Sevenfold's on there. Talk about a guy I can't really get into his vocals too much. I'm not a fan of Avenged Sevenfold though.
Me neither. I'm pissed they use the same vocal trainer as Chris Cornell because I love Chris Cornell.
Yeah. Well, what's M Shadows' excuse then?
I don't know.
Just kidding.
I don't like him.
But no, it's like I've met him a couple of times and he was totally pleasant in that, but he's not doing his wrestling thing. It's like you see some of the clips and people are mad. It's like, first of all, if you see half these people out, like I've met a couple just on the street. I met John Cena while he was filming 12 Rounds in New Orleans.
Nice.
I met Titus O'Neil. He walked by so quick.
Did he slide under the ring?
No, man, this is okay. So, do you remember their old manager who used to constantly talk on the earpiece?
Yeah.
He's almost as annoying as Leo Rush is right now.
Oh God, Leo Rush is so annoying right now, dude.
It's perfect.
Let me tell you about Bobby Lashley. He's got that. Oh man!
But it was my first live WWE event I ever went to in my entire life. Was when I was 30.
Wow, really?
Yeah, man. You know, it was just like
wow.
Never went for a while. And when I was younger, but I was a huge fan. It's like Dad worked at the mills, got laid off all the time. You know, that's the way it was.
Yeah,
Younger, didn't always have the money to go.
Right.
So I went out to Vegas for a buddy's 30th birthday, and we got tickets to Monday Night Raw at Mandalay Bay. And within 2 minutes of being there, I got text messages left and right and Facebook posts like, oh my God, we see you guys on TV. I'm like, I'm in like the 20th row. Like, how do you see me up here? You know, but that was like my first time going, and like Titus was there, and we were just kind of walking around like the Margaritaville Casino or whatever the hell it's called, and all of a sudden he walked by so quick, like, and he's tall and he's jacked, like beyond belief. I'm like, is that Terry Crews? And he walked by so quick. I'm like, no, that was Titus. I'm like, oh no, hold on, we gotta track him down. He was super sweet,
worldwide.
Exactly, but yeah, I mean, most wrestlers are really, really nice people in general.
Yeah, they're people.
They're all laid back. They're all cool, but people are people.
Yeah.
Do you want somebody messing with you while you're eating your hamburger?
I mean, it depends what they're doing.
Or feeding your daughter. Like Roman Reigns caught some crap about that. You know, it's like he's like, nah, man, I'm with my family and I'm feeding my kid.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, come on.
Yeah.
But yeah,
feel you.
But Jericho, yeah, I can totally see that. But that's like I like about Jericho is like he takes that heel persona that way.
Yeah.
Old school.
And he's great. He's at a position in his career too where he can I mean he's much like The Rock. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
He can come into WWE and they're not what's he going to get penalized for? They ain't got to do shit to him, you know, because he's a huge star. And dude, he just announced that they're going to do the Jericho Cruise again, which I mean, I have not been able to watch any of the matches yet. I didn't I believe that was on where the air the Fight app.
Yeah, I think it was on Fight TV.
Man, but I did see like the picture. So he was wearing like gear like the Young Bucks, dude. I was like super marking out because it's cool to see Jericho like that. It's like to me, it's like that's a generation. Like you know, those dudes had to have like looked up to him in some sort of way, like them and the Rockers.
He's like the stereo. Like a lot. Like don't get me wrong. We all like everyone knows Shawn Michaels helped pave the way for smaller guys.
Right.
Shawn Michaels is not a small guy. Mm-hmm. He's over 6 foot. It's just compared to the guys that he was wrestling at the time,
right?
They're all gigantic.
The Land of Giants, yeah,
exactly. And that's
Vince's Land of Giants.
Well, I mean,
no vanilla midgets.
You want to talk about cartoony, you know, and all that stuff, and the characters like the men, the workers, the wrestlers. They were all of cartoonish proportions. The people you don't see that. That's somebody who stands out when you go into a bar and you see somebody who's 6'8".
Big John Studd standing at the end of the bar, go talk shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Andre would.
But like Jericho went and made his own way from Winnipeg to Mexico to Smoky Mountain with
Japan,
Lance, and then over to Japan. Taught himself, you know, the easiest alphabet he could learn on the fly in katakana in Japan, just so he could like dive into the culture a little bit and, you know, make his life easier, and to, I'm sure he was some aspect of trying to make sure he could,
much like Kenny Omega.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like those guys, like you got to, there's a lot of work to be put into it, especially when you're going to travel. But that is I feel like Jericho's rise is a lot of what the super indie and the indie talent in general, like his progression through his career, that's what everyone is trying to do now, because that is the way it goes. That's the way the whole business has evolved to.
Right.
And like he may not be exactly the first one, because a lot of those guys, Eddie and Chris, Benoit and all them. I'm sorry I mentioned the CB name.
Oh no, mention all you want. I love the Pegasus Kid.
But yeah, I mean, just going to look at these days, it's like that's what everyone strives to do. And honestly, I feel like there's a lot of guys in wrestling and all that stuff who maybe didn't go to college. It's not college isn't for everybody, but my world got a lot smaller. I met a lot of people from around the world, around the country, different growing up. When you get to travel like that and dive into a culture and meet everyone, I feel like you start to, it's not just wrestling at that point. Your humanity changes quite a bit.
Yeah.
When you get to have those type of experiences. I should have
cultured. Man.
I should have went when I was 18, you know, and started training when I was 18, but I didn't. I waited till I was 32. I probably would have hated wrestling at this point and ready to, like, you know, jump off a bridge if I was still doing it, if I started at 18, but it is what it is. It's not for everyone, but being a fan is.
Yeah. Oh, so. Yeah. And dude, I'm a huge fan of what that guy's doing. It's like you say, he's a little bit of a pioneer in what's going on, how guys are progressing nowadays.
Yeah.
And just seeing the way he does things and how how smart is he? Like, oh, look at over there. There's BTE. They're doing real good. Let me just, you know, kind of wiggle right into that. And and he's awesome on it, you know. Yep. Everybody they have on there except for James Ellsworth, who I hope no one ever sees again.
Oh God!
Especially considering what was he some kind of
I believe that was
scandal going on.
Somebody was
underage
sending
kids
those pictures from a fake. It wasn't really James Ellsworth that sent it to the underage kid. It was somebody else sent it, and they were trying.
Or is that what he's saying?
That's what I'm hearing so far. I don't know. You know what I mean? Look what happened with Enzo. You know,
look at the guitar player from Cannibal Corpse. He was in jail. His house blew up, and he was like, "There's aliens coming!" So he tried to attack the cops. What's going on with the world? You know,
it's crazy, is what it is, man.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see what happens at Wrestle Kingdom. As far as, you know, we all are kind of aware that the AEW thing is going to happen. I mean, they filed for all the trademarks. It's the proof's in the pudding, you know. Hey, this is our last match with ROH. When the last couple of years, it'd be like, all right, contract's up. Let's do another year or two or whatever.
Well, I think Omega is pretty much signed on 1 year at a time for the last several years.
Yeah.
So.
Well, because he knows his worth, and he's probably the most sought after wrestler on the face of the earth right now. And reading some story I saw today, I think all the members of the Elite were offered by WWE a 7-figure deal, and they turned it down. How badass is that? Like, how hard can I flex right now to that? Well, because it proves that you don't need Vince.
No.
And I love that. I loved it as a kid when the NWO and WCW were kind of getting bigger. I loved that there was competition there, even though I grew up on mainly like the Hogan era, you know, the golden era of wrestling.
Yeah.
I just have never been a fan with how Vince perceives like how the fans should consume wrestling, you know, like it's either his way or the highway, and that's not how it is.
It certainly isn't now.
No.
I mean, it was for a long time.
And I'm glad that there's a good group of people now, and you were seeing the resurgence of territories, and it's just great. It's great for everybody, because for a long time when I was super heartbroken when ECW and WCW got bought out. It was the year I graduated high school, and I was like, something I never thought I would ever see.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care how bad WCW was. Anybody that's going to sit there and tell you is like, oh, you knew that was going to happen is a liar. Yeah. Like, that was shocking. Probably one of my most shocking moments as a wrestling fan ever, still to this day. And I thought, I was like, man, it's just, okay, well, that happened. That sucks. Let's see what they can do with it. And then we all know what happened, you know, the whole lame invasion angle, and they couldn't bring over a lot of big talent.
Well, you can blame Buff Bagwell for that one. So.
I don't know. I think him and Booker were set up for failure on that. You know, it's no disrespect to those guys on that. No. That's Vince's ego is just so damn huge.
Well, to be fair, and I can't remember exactly who it was, but there was some story that came out that someone had actually stooged it off early.
Really?
Because Lance was supposed to be part of that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know exactly how all that happened. Like, somebody screwed the pooch for everyone else that was coming in. And it kind of ruined it.
It was so bad. I mean, it's what should have been probably the biggest pay-per-view ever that people would talk about for the next 100 years. The 3 biggest promotions in wrestling were going to go head-to-head, something you never see. And it was just like, whatever.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so to see what's going on nowadays, and you have something like All In happening, that to me is probably my favorite moment of 2018 was All In. I felt like that little kid again, and I was like, I wanted to get up and punch walls and stuff and like just go crazy because like all the excitement. And we had, since we started this show, we had been covering it since it was announced.
Yep.
You know, and like super excited this is going to happen. It's going to bring a lot of opportunities for people. And here we go, All Elite Wrestling, you know.
Yeah.
It's crazy to see where 2019 is going to take us, because now, you know, New Japan was the number 2. Let's see what happens with All Elite Wrestling.
I can honestly see those guys not actually leaving New Japan at all. I could see them running All Elite more along the lines of
like a working agreement with them.
Well, working agreement like they have with Ring of Honor and all that stuff, and just keep kind of trading talent. But the fact that, I mean, the money isn't everything, right? That's one of the things everybody always hears, but you can't do anything without it, right?
Exactly.
But you're talking about 7 figures. No one.
That's passion right there. You could, no, I don't want that.
It's more than just the passion. It's the fact that these guys know that if they go there,
they're done.
They're not going to be able to control the career that they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Young Bucks didn't actually own the Bullet Club, you know, trademark.
None of
those
didn't
make any money.
They all walked
shirts.
into that,
and they
became something bigger.
Exactly, and now they're doing this thing. They have their merchandise sales. They're going to be earning money off of that on a regular basis. Like whether they have their own promotions start or it's just like spot shows here and there, like a few all-in type shows every.
Are you a spot monkey? Oh, we pardon this. This is Days of Our Lives on Juice Pro Wrestling.
Then what happened?
I forgot I had an alarm set for something else. My bad, gentlemen.
Too late.
But I mean, being able to control whatever you want to do, and that means more than the money you would have got from WWE. Like, that's the reason why Kenny Omega has never gone anywhere else.
Well, look at guys that have gone over there. Finn Balor. You know, I mean, Shinsuke is. Oh, come on now. Even Lashley, dude.
I think
Lashley should have been booked as a beast coming back in, and now he's just a joke. He bends over and smacks his butt, and
I honestly feel like the worst part for me, for everyone that's come up even from NXT, I think that Asuka probably might be the one that I feel is the biggest botch and fumble.
And now they're trying to recover that with giving her the strap, but I'm just kind of lost on it already.
I was at Money in the Bank, and the only reason why she lost at Money in the Bank is because of James Ellsworth.
Yeah,
coming back, which somebody took a picture backstage somewhere and posted it up on Facebook and ended up on all the dirt sheet pages on Facebook. And I was disappointed because I was backstage that night hanging out. I got my friend and I had won an auction from the Bears charity for a couple tickets, and it was like a little mini backstage meet and greet, and supposed to be like half an hour. Somebody at Allstate Arena had screwed up where our tickets were, so we were back there like 3.5 hours and got to eat catering and hang out a little bit. So, I mean, I'm sitting there. I walked in, and the first person I see sitting down is Kurt Angle, and I'm like,
oh my God.
I didn't want to walk up and bother him because you already know the etiquette. You do not go up and bother anybody backstage.
Yeah.
Just as a wrestler, I don't want to do that anyway. But met with a few people, talked with a few people while we were there and all that. But, it's just like, we're sitting there watching it, and I was talking, the liaison that was there with us, and was like, oh, so somebody posted this picture, and she's like, oh, that's awesome. Because even she didn't know, not everybody backstage knows it, but somebody saw him sitting down. It's the telltale wall in the back corridors and all that stuff. But then you have her go and win, and the only reason why she won was because of that finish. It's not exactly like her going over strong. You know what I mean? I feel like if you're going to put somebody over for 500 and something straight days, have her give up the title because she's injured and she's going to get promoted to the main roster instead of actually losing it cleanly to anyone.
Right.
How are you going to do that to this person? Going to build her all the way up? Okay, screw job finish. I get it. But then when she actually wins on the main roster, this is how she wins. Come on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
When it happens, that's what WWE is really good at.
I think, it could be worse. It could be a full-on Dusty finish, too, at times. So.
Did somebody talk about the American Dream?
The American Dream, baby.
Yeah, baby. We'll drop that buy on a couple on you, baby.
Yeah. I thought you guys were going to have a Dusty off for a second.
Oh, no, there ain't no way. This isn't Ric Flair and Jay Lethal going off. And
Did I just hear somebody talk about the Horsemen?
You can't do me.
Yeah. You can't do that. We don't have Ed here, so Flair, it's not really going to
off right now.
Yeah. What did he say? He's like, oldest ride, longest line. Dude, even then, Nature Boy was on fire. Promo skills.
It's ridiculous.
It was ridiculous to see him come back and wrestle. Although I did the nostalgia, because let's face it, man, you're a wrestling fan. Everybody marks out for nostalgic shit.
Of course.
Sting and Flair one more time, even though it happened in TNA.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that great. I still dug it. Yeah. It just Sting's bald spot really bothered. I can't see the stinger. It's got to be spiked and black. I can't. It hurts deep inside. I'm a bald man, but I can never see Steve Borden as a bald man. No, I just can't.
It's tough. Especially when you talk about going from having the bleach blonde flat top to the long black hair, the Crow era.
Yeah.
It's oh god.
It's like, maybe it's a good thing that Seth Rollins ended his career.
Oh.
No, that's not a good thing.
I thought I was sitting across the table from Bret Hart there for a second.
Oh, no, I'm not that sour. Sour grapes! Oh, man, I love Bret, but he is. And you hear it from a lot of other guys in the biz, too. Even Teddy Hart, dude, will tell you, it's so weird because if you listen to Teddy Hart, he sounds like Bret a lot. I mean, I know it's the Canadian thing, and I know they're related, but he sounds like Bret. He's just like, man, he's all about sour grapes, dude. Yeah. But hey, lose your brother, and then there's a lot of there's a lot of tragedy in that family, dude.
That thing, and then his career getting cut when it did because
Goldberg.
I love Goldberg, but like we were talking before, he was still relatively green in the business.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, his super kick was not.
Super kick!
Probably the stiffest one that's ever been thrown at, but
real hard, real big, real stiff.
Super kick to the belly.
Yeah. The super average kick is what we call that.
Super average kick.
I like that. That's like when the dudes come back, ain't been in the ring in 20 years. Much like Bret Hart did. Yep. When he had that match at Mania against Vince McMahon, it's like, why is this happening? Dude, he had a stroke. Why is he in the ring? Whatever.
Yep.
Whatever. Since I'm on that, what do you think of you big Matt Riddle fan?
Yeah, I've never actually met the gentleman, but I love his gimmick because it's so ridiculous.
Dude, it is.
Hearing everyone in the entire crowd just chanting bro. It's nonstop.
And dude, he's super talented, man. I think he's like the next Kurt Angle as far as like catching on, and he might end up maybe even being better. Dare I say it?
He's had the benefit that Kurt didn't have, and actually worked quite a bit with a lot of big names on the indies. I mean, I've seen him, I don't know how many times
and he's had some killer matches. But I don't give a crap about anything. Tell me his theme song music just is not gangsta as hell. And it is, dude. I get pumped when I hear it, dude. It's like some shit out of San Andreas, like CJ from San Andreas.
I don't know if I like his better than Chris Heroes when he was still on the indies before he went back to WWE.
Oh, man, yeah, that was good, too.
Oh, my God. It's fantastic.
We're going to have to do a future episode on theme songs. I mean, because it just gets me so pumped. I could not believe that came out, and it fits his character well, dude.
I can tell you right now, like on my weightlifting playlist on Spotify, I have like a couple of wrestling themes on there. Of course, Kurt Angle's is on there, so
dude.
But I listen to it even just for the hell of it. I love Pentagon's music.
Oh, it's so great. When we did the Lucha episode, right? And we had technical difficulties, which sucked because it was a good episode.
Yeah.
And we started off with that. The Lucha Underground one, I love that. It's one of my favorite theme songs. Yeah.
It's that song is just like it's such a killer groove in general.
Yeah.
That it doesn't like sound like it even should be wrestling entrance music, but it's perfect.
And it works with him. It works great with his character.
I don't think it will work with anybody else that I've seen on the indies anywhere. I mean, honestly, it's perfect for him, and it's just perfect music in general. It sounds just clean. It's awesome sounding.
Hell yeah. I dig it. What about the Road Warriors, dude?
Dude.
Old school WWF?
My favorite tag team as a kid growing up.
Oh, yeah.
So my tag partner TK0 and I down at NGW, we are basically for like a year straight, we're booked like the Road Warriors. We come in and basically do heel stuff, but the fans love us.
Yeah.
Because we're just killing people. 3 minutes, 2 minutes, just crushing people and steamrolling everyone. And it's like I have a hard time not wanting to scream, "Ooh, what a rush!" as we walk out.
We stack on danger and we died on death. Dude, man,
Tell him, Hawk.
Oh, yeah, tell him, Hawk. Well, dude, I did that to Animal when I see him at the Fire Pro, and he just looked at me like,
I'm telling you, I was supposed to do that show because I was still at Fire Pro at the time, and unfortunately, I already had vacation plans, so I couldn't, and I was so mad.
Yeah,
because like I was like I said, I grew up like one of the out of all the people in WWF, oh, Jesus, back in the day, like Hogan and all those guys were all great, but like the minute I saw those dudes coming down, it's like those are my
instantaneous,
guys, you know?
dude. They were so intimidating, and that's one thing I love watching on the network is the old like AWA and NWA stuff with the Road Warriors, just like coming out looking so badass with the spikes. They used to come out with the Black Sabbath too, Iron Man, dude. Like,
and even when they came back as LOD 2000 before Hawk had his issues and they brought Drozen, but like, I should, in spite of having Sonny at their side.
Yeah.
I was still a big fan of it then too, because
I seen them wrestle at the Joyce Center in Notre Dame or South Bend, I guess you would call it. This was 99. No, wait, no, this was 98. Because they weren't actually LOD 2000. Yeah. This was like a couple of years before when everybody was, we'll just throw the 2000 on.
I'm telling you, man, like that is hands down my favorite finisher in all of professional
Doomsday
wrestling.
Device.
Doomsday Device is just like, it's good luck, kid.
Yeah.
It's also a guy off your shoulders. That's basically what it is.
Yeah, and dude, they were, as Jim Ross likes to say in the DVD, they're real big, real hard, real stiff. I need to get that sample. Big Ed, if you're out there listening, it's coming. It's coming. I got to find the time to sit there and rewatch the whole thing. But I one of my favorites, and shout out to Road Warrior Animal who does the What a Rush podcast. They follow us on Twitter and interact, and super nice dude, man. It was so surreal meeting him because huge mark and fanboy for the Road Warriors, dude. Like it hurts my heart that Hawk is not around. Like that's how big. Like these dudes were so just big and tough dudes from Chicago, that moved out to Minnesota and dominated tag team wrestling. And like had they still would have been around in this era, like maybe in their prime, who knows, because back then they won every belt there was to win.
Pretty much, and they protected their characters, their gimmick, everything to a T. And like listening sometimes to Jim Cornette talk about like the Midnight Express deal
when he fell off the scaffold.
Oh my god! Not just that in general, but some of the business stuff going on backstage with those guys. Like they wanted to put the Midnight Express over on their way out.
Right.
Like that's how you do business when you leave a territory. The booker, I don't remember who it was at the time, didn't want that. They wanted them still on top. It's like, no, we are making this decision. Like the fact that Animal and Hawk went out on a limb for essentially Midnight Express not being as well known at the time, but kind of, growing a little bit more. That just says like everything about those guys, professionalism in general. Like you said, man, nothing but the
lest we forget Paul Ellering too, who was super jacked too. And I'm sorry not to sound, like I'm batting on the other side. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I mean, wrestling fans, whatever. You gotta love a dude with a good physique, dude. And all of those guys had it. And Paul Ellering, dude, like in his early days, was just super jacked, man. Yep. This guy looked like something out of a comic book, man.
Exactly.
And he had that bleach blonde hair and goatee, and the Wall Street Journal and stuff. And he's great verbiage coming out of that guy's mouth, dude. Like,
exactly.
Tell him, Hawk, or tell him, Animal. Well. Love it. So favorite tag team, hands down, Road Warriors?
Favorite tag team, hands down, is the Road Warriors. Yeah.
All right. Favorite, who's your favorite women's wrestler?
Oh, man. It's a little bit tough to kind of go into it now because I think I can't, as much as I would love to, like we talked briefly before, like rose-colored glasses, the Attitude Era and all that, there was a lot changing at the time, and Lita was impressive, and Trish learning was impressive, but honestly, I would probably have to go nowadays, and it's not just because she's been on top for a little bit. It has been Becky Lynch.
Okay, yeah.
Really,
she's
like what
killing
she's
it. I want to see Becky versus Tessa Blanchard. I think Tessa's mine.
Dude, she's
I
fantastic
love Tessa
too.
Blanchard.
Like, and even before she went to WWE, Heidi Lovelace, now Ruby Riott, watching her and Kimberly up at AEW a bunch. The two of them together were always great. Jessica Havoc is phenomenal.
Yeah, dude, she was a Knockouts champ for a little bit.
Yep, Jessica
I think
Havoc
she was kind of underutilized. Impact.
That was before Don and all them took over too, wasn't it? Or was
Oh yeah, this was we're talking like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely then. And I mean, okay, we had Awesome Kong on a show with us at ACW.
She's in Glow on Netflix.
Yeah, the Welfare Queen is her character or whatever.
Yeah, this is great.
She is quite possibly one of the sweetest people I've ever met in my entire life. She was an absolute sweetheart. And then she had left shortly after that. She went over to Japan, but then had to cancel. Her back has just been really badly messed up for a little while. And I think it was just she couldn't commit to an entire tour anymore. So that was pretty much the end of her career. I think she maybe did like 2 more matches in the area after that, and that was about it for her. But watching her was just like her and was it Gail Kim? They had that rivalry.
She came back, and then this was when the Broken Matt Hardy stuff was popping off. Yeah, and then they had that backstage shit with Rebby Sky, and it was kind of like, she got the get the fuck out. But yeah, dude, Awesome Kong, I totally dug her. Her and that Gail Kim. Probably as far as TNA knockouts or Impact knockouts go, it's got to be like one of the greatest knockouts rivalries ever. I can't do it. Revelries.
But yeah, and then also we mentioned Asuka earlier. She's also she's just like her ability.
She couldn't beat Tessa Blanchard, though.
Dude, I just watched that clip again of Minoru Suzuki.
Oh yeah,
beating her down for like a minute straight, and it's just like it's kind of uncomfortable to watch. But Asuka was like, no, I want the respect and all that stuff. Like Suzuki might be my favorite person right now in wrestling.
Nice.
And like, just go back and watch his stuff. I actually stole his forearm spot in my last match.
Hey man,
paid homage. That's
right. Yeah. We don't. We're not stealing anything here.
It's wrestling. Everything's been stolen a million times.
Someone say fromage.
Andre,
I'm sorry.
Could you say that with your accent again, Dexter?
Somebody say fromage.
Andre's back in the studio. How you been, Andre?
Pretty good.
All right, thanks for dropping by.
I gotta go.
Later. I love it when he drops by. He's great, man.
It's
hard to believe that. He's not really dead. He just hangs out in the green door.
Hey, man, I was going to ask him how, what he felt about when he first got on the ropes of how bad the Cliffs of Insanity looked to him when he was getting ready to climb up Princess Bride, but
maybe we can... Yo, Andre!
It was all a miniature. None of it was real.
See,
I gotta go.
he loves.
Bye,
it.
Andre. Thanks for stopping by, mate.
He loves a fine wine, not by the bottle, by the case.
Oh man, that's still one of my favorite stories of all time. Hulk Hogan sitting at the front of the bus in Japan, and he's Andre's young boy essentially.
Oh yeah.
And he started to learn when he needed to bring Andre, make sure he never ran out of beer. Mm-hmm. So he started to learn to count every time Andre hit him in the back of the head with a crushed can. 1, 2, 22. Get up, bring him a new case.
Yeah, damn. Dude, that's nice, man. You caught the Andre documentary, right? The HBO one?
Actually, I did not. I have
Really?
I have HBO Go. I need to actually sit
How
down
have
and watch
you missed that? Do you have a Fire Stick at least?
Dude,
Space pirate that shit.
I video edit everything for ACW. I help Backbreaker out with that stuff too.
Right.
So I spend a lot of time doing wrestling stuff that's not actually fun wrestling stuff. It's tedious work.
Yeah.
So
Well, I do a lot of the
production. So
social media crap for here, and it sucks. I
Yeah.
get yelled at all the time. Lynch, pay attention to me. It's like, I gotta do this.
yeah, it's fun syncing 4 camera angles and audio and commentary guys now, and making sure that I don't have to re-record commentary because they might have said something that's a little insulting to somebody on the show.
Right.
And I don't mean in character.
Yeah, I feel your pain. So, hey, man, where can people find you on social media?
Drex Odell on Twitter. It's at Drex Odell. I have 2 different Facebook. I have 1 account and I have a Facebook fan page. I really don't post on that one very often though. So, but it's mostly just, regular Facebook account page, and that's about it really. Yeah.
You do Instagram at all?
No, that I do not do.
You better get on it.
Yeah, maybe I should. Maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. It's just kind of, not my favorite out of all the social medias.
Oh, yeah.
I want to start a Friendster account. It was Drex Odell, and see if anybody. I mean, think Dane Cook might be the only person who gets into that joke a little bit, but
Dane Cook, like his horrible joke. Hey, let's turn the lights off and play. What's that one joke?
what's in my mouth?
Yeah, who's in my mouth? That's for some reason that's the only joke I remember from that stand-up.
Yeah.
But yeah, good time.
So,
Well, hey Drex, thanks for coming on.
thanks for having me, gentlemen.
Yeah, no problem. We're gonna have you on again sometime if you'd like to.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime, just let me know.
Yeah, just remember when you leave that bathroom, there's no music after you walk out the curtain. It's hard to break out a character sometimes, you know.
Well,
you live in the life.
I'm in a hard place, man. I just came back to ACW after being off since May, and I changed my music, and it's like I'm still getting the timing down, and like what I do when I come out. I used to use Ozzy Osbourne's Thunder Underground, and
Oh, what are you using now?
I'm using I'm basically my gear and everything is looking more cyberpunkish.
Nice.
So it could be
Billy
a better
Idol?
time with the new movie coming. Well, without the spiked hair, because I used to dye my hair blonde and spike it in high school like Billy.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
They could do it. I could do it.
It's by a artist named Scandroid, and the song's Neo Tokyo, but it's the Dance with the Dead remix and the instrumental version, because go with that instead of vocals and all that stuff. So
Nice.
it's like electro, dark wave, synth wave stuff that's been coming back like crazy lately.
Sounds like black metal. I don't really get into all that jazz. I like a couple bands.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, thanks for coming on. We're going to have you back here soon. And Sren, cue it up for me, baby.
Wet 'em up.
Yeah, cue it up.
Wet 'em up.
Wet 'em up. Wet 'em up. Wet 'em up.
Wet 'em up.
Dig it. You gonna do sex to me?